Hi, Ryanne from Dool. How are you today?
Hi, Daniel. I'm pretty good. Do you have any lockdown tips? So, I'm a pretty much a beer enthusiastic. But I swapped that for cocktails now, which is like totally unexplored territory for me. So,
And I saw that on your Instagram today. What were you drinking?
That was like jalapeno margaritas.
Oh, really? Very
Yes. The sun was out, so I was on my balcony drinking margaritas. Yeah,
Absolutely. I don't blame you. So I'm gonna. Can you help me out? Help me out with this, right? It's Dool, not Dool, right? That's right, isn't it?
yeah, not dull as in boring, but dole.
Dool. That's right. And what's the meaning?
It's the Dutch word for wandering, like wandering around in that sense.
Okay.
So, and I think this is something that is really something really characterizing for Dool, us as people, but also us as a band, and musically. We're not quite sure where we belong. And if we belong, but we keep, looking and wondering and trying out a lot of stuff. And, that's...
As a fan, I totally agree with that, because your music wanders around melodic, soulful, heavy. It covers all those bases, so I can totally agree with what you're saying there.
Yeah. We try not to, like, stigmatize ourselves or narrow ourselves down or put boundaries to our creativity, just so that we are definable or something, or that you can put us in the box, or so that we can play all the metal festivals or all the pop shows or whatever. We just try to go along and let the music lead us, sure. And that's a pretty interesting journey so far. Sure.
So, I mean, I've been a fan since 2017. I think I heard the Alpha on a Spotify playlist, and so that was the Here Now There Then album. And the Summerland has got rave reviews, as you said earlier, and it's really excellent. It came out 2 weeks ago now, and between the Money Heist theme tune and your album, no other songs have been allowed to enter my head recently. It's just been literally like it's such a good album. So impressed with it. So, I mean, was there any sort of like threat of it being delayed due to the pandemic?
Well, no, because we finished it quite in time. I think we had the master done already. I don't want to ruin too much of the magic, so let's not. I won't go into details actually, but no, we were in time, and we were actually more afraid of one of those vinyl supplying factories were burned down or something. Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't.
In America?
No.
Oh, okay, well, yeah.
Really?
So, yeah, that was more scary. But then, the whole COVID situation came. The only thing that sucks is that we did a special edition box set, like this limited editions, beautiful box set with an art book and double vinyl, really nice on like red marble and special 12-inch and some posters. And there was also supposed to be a little music box. Mm-hmm. We had like a classical wooden music box that you can just play yourself, but that was manufactured in China, so that was not that didn't arrive in time. So unfortunately, we have to wait a little longer for that.
Sure,
but
sure.
Yeah,
and obviously, no one can travel at the moment. So the album Summerland. I'm gathering the album isn't about holidays. What's the theme behind Summerland?
Well, I came across the term Summerland in a book I was reading, which also has been turned into a movie somewhere in the 90s, I think. It's called What Dreams May Come. It's written by by Matheson, and the movie is like this typical Hollywood movie, but the book has it's dealing with like this very philosophical side of death and dying and reincarnation, and I came across the term Summerland in this book, and I wanted to know more about it because Summerland stands for like it's an alternative version of heaven, basically, and it's tailored to your needs instead of that it's created or made up by a religion or a god or society or a church or whatever the fuck. So it's like your own personal version of heaven, customized heaven, so to speak. Okay. And that really, it triggered something in me. Like, I got really curious about, what would that be for me? And this is basically what we're exploring on the album.
Cool. And was the writing process the same way as it's always been? Is there a specific way of the way you write and record, or is that part of the magic?
Well, on the first album, we just experimented a lot and we jammed a lot, and because we had no clue, we were just a couple friends that got together, and purely out of the passion for making music, I just decided, like, okay, let's see where it takes us. Now we had the same process, but there were like 3 years of intensively touring and playing live in between. Mm-hmm. So that got us into a whole more like really interesting and exciting direction, because we knew this time that we had this foundation and that we can rely on each other, and that we really got to know each other musically even more in these past 3 years. So now there was a lot more space for the experiment, and you can really hear that, and there's a lot more confidence too, and a lot more identity or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
for those that don't know Dool, I mean, I've been a fan for the last 3 years, so I know you quite well. How would you I know you don't really like to pigeonhole and put like descriptions and genres on there, but how would you like to be described?
I don't know. I would say that we make some kind of dark rock, in the sense that we like to play with the tension and the contrast between dark and light. I mean, it can go both ways. I would say we make some kind of dark rock to keep it simple. Yeah,
you keep it simple like that. So, I mean, on your Instagram, I've noticed on a few pictures that you're wearing a Mayhem t-shirt. Today, you're wearing a Dark Throne t-shirt, and I've seen Nick, your guitarist, wearing a Danzig t-shirt. Are these some of the bands that Are these the influences that lie from your youth to now? Is that where you come from?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's part of that, but I must be honest and say that I'm mainly influenced by stuff like more Typo Negative, Sonic Youth, Alice in Chains, this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can hear that. Especially the Typo Negative. I was only saying on my show a couple of weeks ago that Typo there's no other band at the moment ever that's come as close to being like Typo Negative.
Who? Us?
Well, I mean, any band. I mean, it's very difficult to get any band to symbolize and do what they do. It's just so difficult.
Yeah, but do you want to? I mean, you don't. No. I mean, nobody should. You know. I mean,
they are so on their own because obviously Pete Steele died. Was it like 9 years or so last week?
10 years this year.
10 years. Yeah. Crazy. So, are you a bit of a goth at heart? Would you say?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, there was just a lot of alternative music surrounding me. I mean, I grew up in Rotterdam, which is basically the birthplace of gabber music.
Gabber, I know gabber. We like drill and bass kind of stuff, really fast BPM.
Really fast, like hardstyle house gabber, hardcore music. And, this was all happening all around me when I was, like 9 years old, 10 years old. So you wanted to hear that shit. And I went to the record shop like twice a week and listened to gabber music. And then this guy said to me, "Hey, you like loud music, don't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then he put on Undisputed Attitude, that Slayer album where they cover all these hardcore and punk classic songs. And I was sold. I was like, fuck, guitars, this is my new thing. And then I think I was like 11 or 12. And so, it was also metal, like Slayer, Sepultura, and early Cradle of Filth, and,
So, I mean, Netherlands, has it got a metal scene, would you say? Like a rock metal scene?
Yeah, we do, but it's, it's small. The Netherlands are small. Yeah. So relatively it's small, but also like absolutely it's even smaller, I think, than, compared to England or, any other country. Unfortunately. But, we have a lot of good quality and upcoming underground metal bands. There's a lot happening here. There's like bands like Verwoed and Turia, Tessai de Horde. There's Ghoul from, there's like this whole scene in Tilburg and Eindhoven and in Utrecht and Arnhem and Fluisteraars. There's really a lot of great metal bands coming from the Netherlands right now.
Did you, what I like to say, BC, before Corona, did you get out to see other bands playing in Netherlands?
Well, I didn't have a lot of time, to be honest. So mainly for me, the one because I do a lot of other stuff too, and I'm a creative and busy person. But the one time I really get to know a lot of new bands and see them live is at Roburn Festival, which should have been last week, where we also should have been playing. But this is something that I really look forward to every year, because there's like a really exciting weekend where you plan to see one band and you end up seeing another band, and which totally blows your mind, and you never heard of them before. So
if you don't mind me saying, obviously those who don't know you, you have a bit of a celebrity status away from Dool in the Netherlands. Has that ever affected your writing or the activity with the band, or do you see it as a bonus benefit?
Oh, these are two separate entities. I mean, I don't mix one with the other. I mean, Dool is Dool is not about me. It's about the whole band.
Of course.
I'd rather leave that part out because we are like another organism and another thing, so to speak. Yeah.
I spoke to a friend of mine today in the Netherlands who lives up in Eindhoven, and she said, I mentioned you, that I was speaking to you today, and she said, oh no, Ryanne, she's a household name in Netherlands. So I had to mention it, because I only know you for Dool, obviously, because I'm a Dool fan, and coming from England and now living in Spain, I'm not familiar with Dutch, celebrity culture.
Yeah. Well, I happen to make some television documentaries for state television, and I now have a show about where I drive around the Netherlands at night, and I'm just curious to see who's awake, and I'm curious to see what kind of people are living at night instead of during the day.
That's cool.
Yes, so this is these are two of my most recent endeavors on that, and people really seem to love it, and it's something different, and I like that I can bring that on, in between all the polished and makeup television. I can do something different and something raw and a bit more pure, and about people who are different too.
Sure. So do you think that brings new faces to the show that probably wouldn't have found Dool any other way?
Well, I think you can see it as we are wanderers making music for other wanderers. Sure. In a way, and it doesn't matter where you come from. I sound like Jesus now, but we can break the bread and share the wine. But I mean, it's we can give some sort of solace and home for people who don't belong either, and you can see that at our shows. Like in the back, there's like these metal guys standing with beer, and then in the front there's 50 plus 60s guys wearing golden earring t-shirts and Led Zepp t-shirts, and like these classic rock admirers, and then in the front there's two gothic girls making out, and then there's a punk, and and then in the back there's my mom having a good time, having a laugh.
But that must please you so much, because you obviously with Dool sound, it's such a broad spectrum. It must please you that whole spectrum gets the love at shows, and people do come from all different walks of life.
Yeah, I love that. I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest, because it opens up a lot of new experiences for us too. We get to play places that we normally wouldn't play. I mean, you can put us on a big pop festival, and we'll be all right. But you can also put us like in a black metal cellar, and we'll be all right as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and that's what I love about.
It's all about intensity and honesty, I think,
Sure.
I think we do that well with Dool.
Yeah, you sure do. So, I mean, after this whole pandemic's over, what's life going to be like in the Dool world? I mean, are you going to be rescheduling your tour and everything? Are you going to do the same tour but later down the line? Is that the plan?
Well, we're working on rescheduling it now, and it's probably not going to happen in 2020 because things are still so uncertain on many levels in many countries. So we're aiming for early 21. But nothing is certain set in stone yet. So waiting on things to become a bit more clear for the whole world. But we're so eager to play. I mean, everyone is on fire, and everyone is looking in the same direction, and we're all just like ready to go. And we have a new guitar player too, Omar, and he's like really enthusiastic. So we're all just waiting, like when can we start? When can we go into the rehearsal room and get going?
I had another interview last week with somebody else, and we had a whole discussion about what's going to happen to the music industry during this time. I've read in NME that the music industry won't recover till October next year for live gigs and stuff. I mean, how do you see it? What have you heard?
I'm not an expert on this. I don't want to, make any. I'm just waiting for experts and for officials to give us some clarity about the situation. I mean, I can do some guesstimate, but who fucking cares? I know nothing.
We want our gigs back. That's what we want.
Yeah.
So much so.
Everybody does. Yeah. So, but I think the only thing we can do is just wait patiently and. I don't know, support bands that you like. I mean, buy their records online or get the Bandcamp streams. Pay for your music. Pay for your shit.
Get the merch.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Well, Ryanna, thanks so much for joining me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for your interest, man.